The discussion in this episode will disgust most people. And for all the others, this is your warning. Kia ora, ladies and gentlemen, and all of those in between. Please take a seat, for this episode shall be a lesson upon the DC universe itself. Yes, I've been asked to help explain the DC universe so as people can get a better understanding of the differences in the DC and our universe. Because there is two, and the only one that counts is the real one, ours. We must keep an eye on the DC. And to show you that, to do that, in this lesson, I shall use a few of the crime stories that have been going on out there and about in our universe at present. So to start this lesson, and to show you that the DC actually exists, the DC universe has been created, it's been willed and believed into existence. So we didn't make it, it's been created by them, by their actions. And it's a universe of fantasy, and the main staple is that the people that exist within it are beyond the stupid, and it is all tied together by what they call the dumbness. It is the complete opposite of our universe, which doesn't contain DCs. Sure, for sure we have dumb people, and they seem really dumb, but there is a difference, ladies and gentlemen, and all you other guys and girls, between our dumb and theirs. Our universe contains the G's, the good guys. And to be a good guy, all it takes for you to be a good guy is just to live in either one of the universes, as long as it's not the DC. The two universes are separate, but every now and again, every now and again, a DC will come across to our side, will come across to our universe and wreak havoc, pain, and sometimes death. The first section of this lesson, Into the Universes, shall show you that the DC universe and our universe exist. I shall use this clown. And with this clown, I'm going to show you the difference between the universes. And to do that, I'm going to show you a DC living in the DC universe, and when that DC enters our universe. And we're going to show that you through evidence by way of showing you a DC before he leaves the DC universe, when he's still in it, and when he has stepped over into ours. And what you'll see is what happens to DCs when they realize that they aren't in the DC anymore, and it is a completely different universe altogether for DCs. Because in their universe, the DC, the fantasy, in the DC's universe, everyone has to be something. And what is that something? Well, that something is stupid. And how stupid? Well, DC has to believe, and will into that belief that everyone in the entire DC universe is more stupider than them. And we know this. And how do we know this? Well, we know this is because DC expects that everyone, including the judge and the jury, would believe their story. They have to believe we are all that dumb, that much. The DC universe and ours, they exist with this clown. And who is this DC? Well, his name's Timothy Ferreter. And what did he do? Well, in the DC, this guy thought of himself to be a king, to be an emperor, like Nero. In the DC, he's a powerful and righteous leader who rules his kingdom fairly and just. But you see, in our universe, what he is actually doing was torturing his kid. He'd even built a torture room, which in the DC is called an office. So he gets snapped and he goes to court, and here, in all his might and glory, you can see that DC is still living in the DC universe, that fantasy of dumbness is all around him, that he's still emperor, and that we, in our universe, have got it all wrong. And he wasn't torturing his kid, he was helping him adjust to life in the DC universe, and not a sadistic, weak little man who feels inferior to that of even a child. and that he was righteous in doing the right thing. The DC universe, ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between, a true DC of the DC. And this is what the Emperor looks like when he's in the DC. This is what he looks like when he's in ours. This is what a DC Emperor looks like when they're in our universe. This is the effect called reality the existence had upon them. And the reality of that existence is called fear. And he's only just arrived because he's only been locked up for a few days, kept in segregation. He's not even in population. So this DC hasn't even experienced real fear yet. The effect of what our universe has upon the DC when an emperor with such power in the DC universe is actually just a naked little prick in ours. Now, to reinforce the evidence of the existence of the DC, ladies and gentlemen, I'll add another example of the same. When a DC is living in the DC and what they look like when they start living in our reality, in our universe. And to do that, I'll use a DC that's a pervert who can definitely show us the change and the effect of when that realization sets on in. And that they're not in Kansas anymore, that the DC universe is no more.
Yeah, it's the first door on the left. I had a good feeling that he didn't really have anything dangerous with him at that point, so I let him go to the bathroom, and when he came out, he seemed a little more relaxed. He was a little more comfortable that she let me go to the bathroom. We're going to be here a while. He took off his jacket, and that's another sign that he's, feeling like he's okay with everything. But he begins to tell me he's extremely nervous, and he shows me his hand before he sits down, and it's shaking.
Aww.
That's okay. So he knew that in his heart something wasn't right, but he still decided to come anyway. And then he tells me, I'm sorry I don't look that great today, and he starts fiddling with his hair and really worried about his appearance. Very self-conscious person.
Am I anything what you expected?
Yeah, go on your pictures.
Yeah. Gosh, you're pretty.
Thank you. So what are your plans, or what are you thinking?
Kissing you.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, how we talked on the internet.
So what do you want to do?
I don't care. I mean, I'd like to kiss you, but...
Look how happy our DC is inside that DC universe. Look how happy he is. Because you see, he's in DC. And now, well, here he is in ours.
You were charged with unlawful transaction with a minor less than 16 years of age, first degree, which is a Class B felony. Do you understand that charge?
Yes, sir.
Your bond will stay at $50,000 cash.
Before, after, DC, and ours. And now the next part of this lesson. And now I want to explain the dumbness of the DC universe and that level of dumbness. And to do that, I've chosen this next clip of crime when hillbillies meet technology. I'm going to show you what dumb means in our universe and that level of dumb, because it's pretty fucking dumb. So let me introduce you to our tattooed hillbilly here, rollicking around on the bed with his cousin. You see, Tattoo here and his cousin are enjoying the spoils of war and are figuring out how much moonshine that they will get for the camera that Tattoo just stole. You see, when you mention clouds to a hillbilly, all they think of is that those things that water falls from. No idea about the word wireless at all. In fact, that dumb that you could suppose that when shown these pictures at the police station, Tattoo here wanted to know when the police had snuck into his room and placed a hidden camera. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and all of those in between, that is very, very dumb. And yet that very, very dumb does not even compare to the dumbness of the DC universe. For that level of dumb is the stuff of legends. That level of dumb transcends all ours and exists in another universe called the DC. Now that we have covered the differences and the dumbness in this lesson, the next thing about the DC universe I shall teach you is that in the DC universe, some DCs have acquired superpowers. And as part of their MO, they use these superpowers for dastardly deeds. I made an episode a while back covering one of these DCs who had the power of what we call the super nagger. It's gold. Anyways, this next clip is to show you a DC inside the DC universe using his superpowers, the power of invisibility. And we get to see DC using it at a time when he steps out of the DC and into our universe reality. And at that time, the real people of our universe can see him. And that, well, that would be this.
Excuse me, what are you doing? No, I just saw you put that underneath her dress. Absolutely you did.
No, ma'am, I really wasn't.
You absolutely did.
Ma'am, I really wasn't. I promise.
Then show me your phone.
Get away from me.
Yes.
No, we're going to call security.
No, I really...
You absolutely did. And you were following me over in the children's section.
Because I have a sister who's pregnant. Ma'am, I really wasn't.
You've been extremely close to me this whole time. Please show me your phone.
No.
I really don't mean
Let's get
to.
security. Because this is absolutely wrong.
I really don't mean to.
No, you obviously did.
No, ma'am, please, I really don't
Nope,
mean
let's
to.
get security.
There are many of these pervert sick wackos that get their rocks off by doing something disgusting like this. And when it comes to this type of DC, the ones that have superpowers in the DC universe, part of the rocks getting off is the actual act of getting away with it and the adrenaline of the pervert. That also includes for some of these DCs the actual act of being caught. And they get their rocks off by watching the reaction of the wahine or the young girl that they have just done this to. Sickos. And the thing about the DCs who wear the cloak of invisibility and all the rest of those DCs which have superpowers of some sort, outside the real universe, we actually have a weapon of which nullifies the DC superpowers, and this weapon the DCs know about. This weapon on our side wipes out the DC superpower, identifies them immediately, and at that very point, ladies and gentlemen, and all of those in between, at that point, it is extremely fucking dangerous for the DC pervert. And the thing is about that weapon we have and the environment of where that weapon is that you would probably expect that this type of pervert to be attacking wahine within it. But it's the least likely environment that you will find a DC filming up skirts. And it's all because of the weapon that is on our side, that our side has. And that weapon, well, the weapon is called the bouncer. And that environment is nightclubs and bars. The places where you would expect that these DCs, that these sickos would go as it's dark and it's bustling with wahine and those wahine are drinking, where their situational awareness isn't switched on as much as they're relaxed as they should be. So a predator's sicko's dream, except for that one thing that turns that dream into a fucking nightmare. Bouncers. The least likely thought of a weapon against DCs with superpowers, including those who don't. The rapists, that the reason why there aren't dozens and dozens and dozens of sexual assaults of all different types, levels and degrees at nighttime within the hospitality industry is because of a weapon that nobody ever thinks about. Bouncers. It's not the police who perverts and sickos and DCs are in fear of that stop the bad guy from doing what bad guys do. No, ladies and gentlemen, in clubs and bars, it's the old bouncer. Now, I don't mean security, as there is a big difference between security and bouncers. And what would that difference be? Well, that difference would be that faced with overwhelming odds, security can just turn around and walk away, and it's okay. And it's not because of all the money that the bouncers don't get paid. No, not at all. It's about wanting to make sure that nobody else gets hurt, and that if anybody else does have to get hurt, well, then it better be the bouncer or the bad guy. Hopefully the bad guy. So, from this lesson, you now know that there are two universes, that we didn't create their universe, that they did, and that's why it exists. That the main difference between the two universes is a level of dumbness, and that level of dumbness far exceeds the level of dumbness in ours. That when the DC leaves their universe and enters ours, the one called reality, that the DCs have a visceral reaction as our universe has a completely different atmosphere. That there are many many different types of DCs that commit many different types of crimes, that in the DC universe some DCs have superpowers, that their superpowers don't work properly in ours, and that one of the strongest weapons and the gravest dangers to a DC with superpowers is the person that has the least power of all, the bouncer, and that the safest environment for Wahine to be themselves and not have to worry about being attacked, hurt or violated by a DC is a section of the hospitality industry, and that section is bars, nightclubs, and places that have bouncers, and that there is a difference between a security and a bouncer, and that, well, that brings me to the last thing that I shall teach you, and that you shall learn in this lesson, and that is that every bar that becomes a safe bar under the Safe Bars Aotearoa project has at least one bouncer, and that bouncer is called a safe bar bouncer. And that safe bar bouncer is taught by me, and I'm going to make it so much safer for all of yous. Yeah, so help support the project, join my team, and that means that you can come with me when I HRD and upgrade, implement, evaluate those bouncers into safe bar bouncers under the hospitality safety model that we're bringing inside the Aotearoa hospitality industry. That's New Zealand for the uninitiated. Project Safe Bars Aotearoa. Now, finally, I want to end at how it all started. The existence of the DC universe. That it actually exists. And that is a fact. And with that fact, I can say that this fact is true too. That none of your friends will be on a project team like this one. And that, well, that's a fact. It exists. Right. Stay safe. Stay safe, all of you. Well, almost all of you. You know what I mean? But stay safe. And remember, safebarsaotearoa.com. Come join my team. Okay. See you soon. Now, here's the thing, and if you've been with me for a little while now, you know that there's usually a thing or two, but here is the thing about this, and about this lesson, and it's that when it happens, right, when it happens in the daytime, these fucking perverts, these DCs, and the invisibility, like when it happens in the daytime, the people that are around them, right, in shopping centres, in the daytime, they step up, they do something, they are someone, and those someones, right, those people are betting are just like you, and that's a beautiful thing, knowing that out there in our universe, in our world, that there are way more good guys. Odds are way more good guys, and that means guys and girls, because remember, Wahine dive right on in there, just like men, just like Tane. That's a beautiful thing. They take the perverts on, and that's not just one culture, that's, well, it seems like most cultures, the bad guys. And what that means is that the people that stand around you in the daytime, that the majority of them, our world of people, our universe is full of good guys, and that's a really nice thing to know. And it's also one of the biggest factors when it came to my decision to open the Up Team membership and make this a global community project, or a human project, as we say here at the universe. And chances are that my team will be full of good guys. This last bit, before I finish on this lesson, I'll end it with a message, so I don't waste it. So It can be loud and clear without any type of ambiguity, for it will forever be tied to this lesson. And that is, this message is for all of those pieces of disgusting, wretched, sicko fucking filth that do this upskirting shit. All of those other fucking deviants that are doing shit like this, I fucking love to tell you, to all of you, that when we get there, and we will get there, we definitely will get there, and when we do, all of you are fucked. All of you are fucked once we get there. And that, well, that is our message to you. That is a message to you.